definitely a non-swimming adventure, coming up next on the Journal. Hi friends, and welcome. Hey, if you're a frequent flyer, a regular viewer here on the Journal, well then you probably already know that when it comes to hunting, at least hunting in North America, I have tried just about everything. I've literally been there, done that, got the torn up t-shirt to remember it by. So when something brand new to me comes along, like a chance to hunt alligators and wild hogs in Central Florida with Matt Cates from Triple M Outfitters Unlimited, well, let's just say that it ratchets up my excitement level just a bit, and I couldn't wait to get down there. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to show you part one of our adventure down there, and by our adventure, I mean our good friend and pro staffer, Mr. Bill Funk. And we went down there to hunt the lowlands of Central Florida for the aforementioned cattle-eating alligators and some big old bacon. I couldn't wait to get down there and pursue something that has a history of pursuing people back. There's a little more excitement in it for me when that happens. And I gotta tell you, anytime I can do something new, well, it's certainly something I'm looking forward to. Hey, I'm your host, Kyle Randall, and this is my Wilderness Journal. And friends, we're definitely not going to the beach right now. Folks, this is Matt Cates from Triple M Trophy Outfitters, is that right?
Triple M Outfitters Unlimited.
Triple M Outfitters Unlimited. And we actually met up in Mount Pleasant, Michigan first, and then I saw you again over in Flint at a couple of Safari Club banquets. This guy hunts alligators. And I said, pick me. And then Bill Funk's behind the camera. He said, well, you ain't going without me. We come down here, it's August, and we're going to go alligator hunting and wild hog hunting. And he asked us to meet him out here. This is one of the ranches we're going to hunt, to just kind of look at what the hogs do. It's incredible. Tell me about alligator hunting here.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to go ride these ranches. We're going to look in canals, waterways, little secluded water holes. There's a lot of different places. If there's a body of water, if there's not an alligator in it, there's been one in it. And so we got to check everything.
Here I know the gators are a problem for this gentleman's a cattle farmer.
Yep.
But before we get to that, I want to, folks that don't know you, maybe didn't see you at the show.
Right.
Tell me about Matt Cates and Triple M.
We own an outfitting business here in Florida is where we're based, but we also do elk hunts in Colorado, mule deer in Wyoming, antelope in Wyoming. I run a whitetail operation in Kansas and Oklahoma, mostly archery hunts out there. But we're based here in Florida for alligator.
You can provide the tag to the hunter and you can hunt all year?
Yeah, there is a public land season in Florida. It's about 2 months. We are in an alligator harvest program, which allows a private landowner, if you have at least 1,000 acres or more, to be in that program, and you can hunt alligators all year long.
Bill and I are going to go out and we're going to try to find an alligator, and if we get that right, then we're going to go and try to do some, what did you call it, mitigation. We're going to deal with some hogs. We're going to chase some bacon after that. I brought my stick pusher. Bill's got a rifle. It's a big fun thing for folks up where we're from.
Yeah.
And you asked us to meet you out here to see some of the damage, and it's everywhere.
We're standing in it.
What's the hog hunt? I mean, you have one of them high rack buggies and you can hunt off that? That's legal and people do it?
It's perfectly legal. We'll hunt them from the buggy, and a lot of times we'll use the buggy to just locate the hogs. And then you want to do some spotting and stalking with your bow. So
I want to make it difficult for you. I'm sorry. That's the way I am.
That's the way it is. But we will locate them off the buggy. We'll get down, and then we'll make a stalk. We'll get the wind right and do all the stuff we do when we're hunting. But the buggy will aid in finding them tremendously. We'll use it to travel the ranch and get into this back country, but we very well could kill some of our animals off of it.
Just coming out here, the amount of water and stuff that we pass by, and it's I can't imagine getting through this country.
Right, it's difficult to get around without one.
But I mean, to me this is like a mechanized camel hunt.
Right.
This is cool,
right.
And I'm looking forward to it. It's a rare day when I get to do something new.
It's just a good, fun hunt. You can bring the family. I encourage guys to bring their wives, kids. It's just a really nice, fun hunt.
Well, and I was just thinking, my wife, Tina, and my grandkids, that buggy thing alone, they'd get a kick out of it, and all our family hunts. Yeah. This would be a come down for spring break, and oh, by the way, Matt, we're coming, you got a day sort of a thing.
Right.
We're going to go out there. Thanks, bud. And you know what? I rarely get to do something new. I'm really looking forward to this.
Gonna have a good time.
Thank you, boss.
Let's go.
Just seeing a little of the destruction that those hogs can cause gave me an idea just how much trouble they were for the people down here, but I had no idea what an issue gator numbers were. That is until we went out on a levee in a side-by-side. Matt took us out along one of the water control ponds, and friends, there's a reason we weren't doing any swimming. Matt and Alicia, that was Matt's boy's girlfriend, Bill and I were all in that side by side, and we were all hanging on as he bumped along down a farm road and then up onto a levee, and it wasn't long before he stopped and started glassing the water. He was explaining that out here you have to check everything, every piece of water, every ditch, every canal. Gators can and will be just about anywhere. And I was thinking to myself, this country is so foreign looking. It is so different. I don't know how I'd pick out a gator in the water anywhere. Fortunately, it didn't take Matt but another 5 minutes and he slowed to a stop. I was actually watching some birds squawking in the trees when he said, "Look out there." Matt had spotted what he said was a really nice gator swimming offshore a little bit, and he said I might try to get out and sneak along the backside of the levee, pop up, and maybe he'd come close enough for a shot. And no, it didn't take me long to grab my stick slinger. I worked my way across and then started up, and as soon as I could see over, I realized the gator was coming right at me. I froze there for a few seconds, just waiting to see if he would keep coming, maybe get close enough. Unfortunately, he turned. He started paralleling along the shore, getting farther and farther away. This looked like a good gator, at least it looked like a good one to me, but there was no way I could take a shot, not with a bow at this distance. This was definitely a shooter. I just didn't have the right tool to shoot at him with. This had been a great gator for Bill's rifle, but he was just too far out of my wheelhouse. It's a really nice gator, but he's just too far. He's sitting out there about 70 yards. This is not the right instrument for that. That's a good one. Matt agreed it was a good gator, but he told me don't worry about it. We'll just go find some more. And as we made the turn along the west side of that levee, he looked down and that got his attention.
Yeah, he's just a little too small. That one's there was probably only 5-6 foot.
This gator was a little too young yet, but it did let Matt show us how to call one.
We can get something better than that for sure.
You weren't kidding when you said you had them everywhere.
Yep, no telling where we'll see one. Let's move along and go look at some more.
All right, sir.
What's that black thing?
Snakebird, cormorant, something. We'd made it to the end of the dike and turned east when I spotted a gator right down by the bank. Off for a minute. That looks like a pretty good gator to me. I whispered to Matt, and he pulled up short, and then I looked, and he was looking out in the water. There were gators everywhere.
Another 8 to 10 footer?
Yep.
Pretty big too.
Yeah, he's over 10. Here's a major slide right here where they come between this big reservoir and this marsh land out here. They cross over back and forth.
We had slid out of the buggy looking for a place to get down near the water when Bill started snapping his fingers and pointing.
Yep. There you see Bubba Trey's going to come up out there about between 11 and 12 o'clock. There he is.
Hey, there's another one popped up right there. About 200 yards.
There were gators coming from every direction.
That one over there is bigger though.
Yeah, we gotta figure out a way to get down there.
Yeah.
That gator there on the right, the one that's making his way swimming left there, he's going to be in that 11-foot range.
That's a tree shaker then.
Yeah, it's a big alligator.
That's a boss hog right there.
But all these gators we're looking at right here are in that 9 and up.
Yeah, they wouldn't be putting up with each other any other way, would they?
Mm-hmm.
And there's another one way out there about 200 yards.
Bill?
Yes, sir.
You bush hog me a path down there to the edge where I can stand and shoot? I'll give you my pocket knife.
Okay.
Welcome to Matt Cates Gator Farm.
Gators we're seeing right behind us here,
Right.
and we'll have to do a little spotting and stalking down this levee to get close enough for a shot.
Yeah,
So.
I can see where this would be good to hide you, but tough to get through.
Yep, it makes it fun though.
Oh, yeah.
A little different look.
This is my kind of thing. It's all right. We just ain't close enough.
No, we're not
We'll
close
get
enough
closer.
right now.
We'll get closer.
We're going to get there.
There were 5 or 6 or 8 really nice gators in the corner of that pond, but I just couldn't get at them. So Matt said, no worry, we'll just move a little farther down. And a little farther is all we got before we ran into some more. There really were gators all over this water. But if I was going to get one with my bow, I was going to have to get just a little bit closer. Matt wasn't kidding when he said he had a lot of gators, and some of them were truly impressive, big enough to eat you whole. Unfortunately, I couldn't get close enough in that thicker cover. I couldn't get down to the water and then get one close enough to get an arrow into it. You know, it's a 20, 30-yard thing. You're shooting at a pretty small target with a bow. So I needed to get a whole lot closer. Matt said, don't worry about it. We have lots of gators. And then he moved us over to a different part of the ranch where we could hunt some long, narrow canals. And friends, didn't take long to find out they had gators there too. We were working our way through some long, narrow canals on a different part of the ranch when I looked up, and I was pretty sure I saw a gator swimming across the opening. Right there in the broad daylight, right in the middle of the widest part, sat what looked like a pretty good gator. Grab my bow. I decided, you know, he's kind of far out, but just in case, I'm going to grab my bow. And it was a pretty good gator, and no, he didn't come anywhere close enough for a shot.
There's a gator nest right there, Kyle, on the other side of that bank, that big high mound of brown grass. Gator will crawl up there on that high ground and she'll scratch up all that grass and build that mound, and she'll lay her eggs about half to 2/3 up into that mound.
And then however hot it gets determines on what sex they come out.
It does. It's a 3-degree difference to determine male or female.
Tough to explain in that scientific world, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
We were seeing lots of gators, and most of them would have been reachable with Bill's rifle, the one we had back in the room. Yeah, unfortunately for me, I needed to get really close, right up to the water's edge, uncomfortable close, you know what I mean? Still, without a rifle, we were going to have to keep trying. And then when Matt got a call from one of his ranchers saying that he had a gator out in one of his cow pastures, Matt turned around, looked at me, and he said, hold on a minute, you might get your chance to get uncomfortably close real soon. Oh, and yeah, we did stop by and pick up Bill's rifle.
All right, Bill, you ready to roll?
I'm ready.
Did you bring your safety harness? I'm not sure that's any shorter than your tree stand. Yeah. Get on up there and don't get a nosebleed. Here, ready to go.
This is the deal, huh?
Everybody should have one.
A half an hour later, we had Bill and his rifle 8 feet up in the air on Matt's swamp buggy, literally a mobile hunting platform. This thing was awesome. We rolled down through the pasture. We saw some of those young cattle the farmer was concerned with, and as we crossed the first pasture, it became clear there was water and swamp everywhere in this country. Matt said we needed to check all of that water. You never knew where a gator'd pop up. And I could see how valuable this type of transportation would be getting around. There were so many places that we couldn't get to, and a lot of things we wouldn't see if we weren't this high up in the air and able to cross all that water. In fact, just as we pulled up to the first gate.
Bill, you see this gator right here? He's got his head on the lily pad. Yep. That's just a small gator there. That gator's going to be 3 to 4 foot. He's not anything we want to mess with, but that just gives you an idea on what we got to look for. They don't give you a lot to look at when they're in the water like that, but
It's not for you.
No, a little bit small.
All you can make out of that's a belt.
Yeah.
Wrong gator.
wrong gator.
But they are in some pretty minimal water, aren't they?
Yeah, small water. They're traveling a lot.
Matt pointed out a gator laying down in the lilies hiding. This was a little guy, certainly not the one we were after, but it just as easily could have been a real threat, a much bigger gator. And without that buggy, we would have had to walk right to the water's edge in hopes of seeing it. And even then, there was no guarantee you could see more than a few feet. We may have walked right by it. As we were rolling along, I began to thinking, and finally I asked Matt, how bad does a rig like this actually scare the critters?
It's the smoothest thing you've ever rode on, but you can sure see a lot off of it. The hogs don't really mind it as far as the noise of it. The hogs, deer, turkeys.
Friends, about then I do recall thinking, you know, this is a little different for an old northern boy. Hunting from a moving vehicle with a rifle at the ready. Well, let's just say that struck me as a little bit odd, but I will tell you it is 110% legal, and in this country, there really isn't any other way to get around.
There is a gator in here, though. There's right there, that weed. When his head's real wet and that sun is shining on it, he'll
Get a little reflection off it. The truth is, when you're hunting in Florida, there's a reason they do what they do. And not 10 minutes later, that reason popped its head up in a small pond.
There's a gator. That's a good gator right there. Back of his head. Let's go ahead and take him. To the right side of the pond, see all the bubbles?
Yep.
That gun surprise you when it goes uphill.
I'm ready.
Go ahead.
Right at the water line, left-hand side, nice and easy, Bill.
Over him a foot.
Right and left's money, it's purple.
Bill's shot had missed high, but almost amazingly,
He's on the right edge right there.
the gator popped back up. He was a little closer to the shore, kind of hiding a little bit in the grass, but we could still see him. All right.
Nice and slow. If you aim right at the top of his eye.
See, it's the gun.
Yep.
It's stuck.
What's stuck?
Shell stuck in it.
Well, let's see now. That was 2 clean misses from one now jammed rifle, a highly agitated and aggressive lizard, and no real way left to finish the deal save sneaking up to that lizard and try to whack him with a stick. Sounds like a good idea. When the gator came up again, Matt whispered,
You want to try and get an arrow on him, Kyle?
"If you think I can slip up there and do it, I mean, how sensitive are they to movement?"
Yeah, he ain't gonna be digging it, but we can,
Matt and I got down off the buggy and slipped up to the edge of the water hole. But when we got to the edge, we couldn't see him. He might have been right there 4 feet in front of me, but I couldn't see him. And not being able to see an alligator, my friends, trust me, sooner or later you get to thinking just exactly who would be hunting who now. The gator still wasn't coming up, so Matt told Matthew to back up the buggy, and he popped right up. Now it was on me.
That got him. That's stuck in. I seen the arrow actually when it went down. I seen the arrow take off. As soon as you started off, he stuck him. Yeah.
That happened really fast, but it looked like a good shot, and within a minute, young Matthew had him on the line, pulling him in.
All right. Ease him on up, buddy.
Oh, he's just hooked in the foot.
Yeah, he's hooked right in the webbing of his feet.
He ain't
Drag him
kicking,
up here a
he
bit.
ain't kicking too much.
I think that
Oh, look.
first arrow you
Yeah,
got
that-
in him.
Yeah, there's
And friends, I truly hadn't appreciated just how big this critter was until he started hauling it up on shore.
I think you got a good shot there.
I think that'll, it's yeah, that's it.
Wedged
Well,
in
it's
there.
in there.
Great
Yeah.
shot.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, you're the best fisherman I know in Florida.
Thank you.
That's awesome. That's a nice gator, guys. Yeah. I didn't come, well, he's got a little kick in him, but
some nerve left. kicking on him.
he ain't, with a shot like that, I don't think it's, he's kind of like me. All the functions keep going, but there ain't a lot of thinking happening.
Yeah. No, that was a great shot, man. You
Thank
did
you,
good.
bud. Well, this is the gator you said is giving all the cattle the fits with the young calves, though, right? That's why we're here.
Yeah, you got these water holes, all these calves on the ground right now. Come get a drink of water, and like we don't need calves at this point in time being taken by gators. So
This is an exciting hunt, and it's something that, quite frankly,
in Michigan you're never going to do.
You're never going to do it, and it's nice we can do it all year long. That's the plus. I
Yeah.
can fit anybody's schedule.
Oh yeah, I mean spring break guys or
Doesn't matter.
family vacation, you're coming down. This is
Yep.
this, and the ranchers are happy to see you, and the price of your McDonald's burger doesn't go up because the cattle aren't getting eaten.
And then also we have the hogs that we combo with it. We're going to kill some hogs with you guys here the next day or two, and it just makes for a good time.
So this is like a Central Florida surf and turf.
That's exactly what it is. A little bit of everything.
We're going to do some gator tail and bacon. That's it.
That's a fact. Who
I will.
doesn't like that? So
I don't know, but if they don't, they ain't watching this show.
they don't need to be watching.
They're watching something. Thank you, guys. Thank
Good.
you immensely. That was awesome.
hunt, good
Thank
shooting.
you, Matthew. I really appreciate it. That's pretty good afternoon's work, gentlemen. We've been in Florida, what, 4 hours?
Yeah.
5 hours?
It's good gator.
That's a dandy. Somebody's calf will sleep a little better tonight.
Yep, landowner will be glad. We got to take it by the house and show him. There and here.
And that's case closed. My friends, this was a unique and certainly new to me hunting opportunity, and I do truly want to thank Matt Cates and everybody down at Triple M Outfitters Unlimited. I'm definitely coming back. My friends, that was an awesome hunt. It certainly didn't turn out the way we'd planned it, but in the end it did all come together. And I have to tell you, sneaking up to the water's edge and waiting for an alligator to pop up right in front of you, that's intense, and it truly made it that much more exciting. And it was really the first part, the first few hours of the first day. We'll be bringing you some wild hog hunting, and without giving anything away, I will tell you that Bill does get a shot, pardon the pun, at a redemption gator of his own. Folks, if you've never tried it, I'd never tried it. It is something so much fun, so different. Just the ride on that swamp buggy out through the lowlands is worth the trip as far as I'm concerned. And speaking of trip, I truly hope we see you out there making some of your own. Maybe you'll be chasing one of them big old lizards or some wild hogs. No matter what you're doing though, we truly hope we see you out there. And if we do, well, you know we're gonna stop and share a cup and a fire, maybe a story or two about an alligator. And if I don't see you out there, friends, well then I'll wait for you right back here so we can share another adventure from my Wilderness Journal.